guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a what I eat in a day video. So let's just get right into it. I think this morning I'm thinking that I would like to have a smoothie. So I think I'm going to show you guys basically the perfect way to create the perfect smoothie. So depending on if you like it thicker or if you like it a little bit more so you could drink it out of a straw, I'll tell you all the ways to create that. So let me just put that right there. Okay, so I normally start with a green of some kind. I typically like to do spinach, but you could definitely do any other green that you like. Collard greens have a ton of calcium, so that's a good option as well. But we're just gonna start with some spinach. I always like to start with the greens first so that you can blend those up really nicely. I do about a cup or two of greens. Now, obviously, I like my smoothies super green. You're gonna notice that my smoothie is extra dark in color, and that's just because I like to add in a ton of nutrients. Now, if you're a beginner, you can definitely start out small and not put quite as much greens in and just do it to the point, you know, that you're getting in some extra greens that you weren't gonna have before. Then I like to add in any of my powders with the greens so that that can get blended up well. So I've got this Navita's Focus. It's a daily superfood boost. So this obviously doesn't taste good on its own, and my smoothies tend to taste really earthy. I'm okay with that, but I've built up to it. So you know, if you're a beginner, start out slow. So I'm gonna take about a scoop of this. When I first started taking it, I only did a half a scoop, so you can do that as well. Then I'm gonna add in the Four Sigmatics Reishi Mushroom Elixir. The people that have had this before that have said it tastes really bad, one of the suggestions I always have for them is to put it in a smoothie. Fruit hides a lot of flavors that you don't necessarily like, so this is what I tend to do. You could definitely have those on your own if you're fine with having like that earthy flavor. Then I'm going to add in a scoop of my protein powder. This is a pea protein from Now Sports. Has about 24 grams of protein per scoop, 2 grams of fat, and 1 gram of carb, which is really good. The sodium is 320 milligrams, so a little bit higher than I really like, but I try not to add salt to my food so that the sodium is not too bad throughout the day. So add in a scoop of that. Then I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of this PB2 powder. This is powdered peanut butter. The reason that I like doing the powdered peanut butter is because it only has 1.5 grams of fat, and then it has 5 grams of carbs and 5 grams of protein, but it just gives that peanut butter flavor. So if, let's say, you just want to do a peanut butter banana smoothie, you can get that peanut butter taste without having 20 grams of fat. Trick 1 is to add in your fluid or liquid at this point and blend it up. So a lot of people complain like, oh, I added my kale and it's like really gritty. Well, if you put in the fluid and blend that up until it's like a green fluid liquid, then you won't have that gritty texture. So you could add in a plant-based protein milk if you want, or just a plant-based milk. I just add water. If you want a creamier flavor, plant-based milk is my suggestion. Okay, so I add about a cup. Now I like my smoothies a little bit thicker. The trick is if you want a thinner shake, you're just wanting to be able to drink it up, you add in more liquid. If you want a thicker consistency, then you'll use less fluid. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that up. Okay, so now as you can see, it's like just green fluid. There are no bits and like pieces of particles or anything. It's smooth. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna add in your frozen items. So sometimes I'll add in frozen zucchini and then do a less amount of fruit if I'm wanting to do more greens and less fruit. You could just add in fruit right now, which is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna add in some whole strawberries and some blueberries. So I'm gonna do about a half a cup of each. Now, if you wanted to get away with less fruit, but you still really want that frosty thickness, you could add in more ice. The only thing with that is it's gonna water it down, so that's why I like to add in like a frozen green of some kind. You could even do, I've done broccoli before. It's definitely gritty. Broccoli, you just can't get rid of that grit, but all right. So there is the consistency of my smoothie. I'll pour it out so you can see it a little bit. So I like to drink mine out of a mason jar. See that? That's a little bit thicker. I like it like a frosty consistency, you know, from Wendy's. But you could definitely water it down so that it's a little bit more loose. Okay, and there you have it. That's my smoothie. That's my breakfast smoothie. So I'll check in with you guys for lunch. Alright, so it's lunchtime and I'm about to have some chili that I prepped this weekend. Stay tuned on my channel. I will be posting a recipe video on prepping out my vegan chili. Super good. It's so easy. I can't even believe how easy it is. So here it is. This is it portioned out for me. Tons of protein in this. I'm going to add some avocado to it. You could definitely add on some vegan sour cream. I love to use a vegan yogurt and drizzle that on top. You could also use So Delicious brand cheese shreds. Daiya is not really my fave, and I'll go into a whole video on what sort of cheeses I like and what I add them to and so on and so forth. So stay tuned for that. But you could add cheese, you could do crackers. Today I'm just gonna do an avocado on top. So I'm just gonna heat this up and I'll show you what that looks like once I've added the avocado on top. All right, so here it is. My vegan chili with the avocados on top. I did add on a little bit of garlic salt. When I make my chili, I don't add any salt, so I'm totally fine with adding on a little bit of garlic salt just to add in the extra flavor. So I'm gonna go eat this and I'll see you for dinner. I'm gonna be making a recipe, so you'll get to cook with me on that. Alright, so it's dinner time and I'm gonna start doing my recipe. I'm gonna be following a recipe from Chloe's Flavor. This is a recipe book that I picked up. There's tons of really good recipes in here. I'm gonna be doing the coconut falafel sliders. I'm not gonna be doing mango salsa, and I'm loosely following the recipe as I usually do. The recipe calls for 1 can of dried and patted down chickpeas, 1 bunch of cilantro chopped. It calls for half of a purple onion or red onion. I used a jumbo onion, so I only chopped like 1/4 of one. And then it calls for a half a teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of salt, and then I did about 1/8 a teaspoon of black pepper. It also calls for 3 garlic cloves. Some of the cloves in there are small, so I'm just going to use a little bit more because I really like my meals to be garlicky. And then it calls 1/4 cup of garbanzo bean flour or regular flour. I'm just going to combine all of these into a bowl, a mixing bowl. Now Now the recipe says to use a food processor. I'm gonna try using my KitchenAid and see how it turns out. It says not to over process, so I really don't think that it should be that big of a deal. It says I need minced garlic, so I'm going to use my little mincer here. Okay, so everything is combined in there, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this over to my KitchenAid. And here's what the mixture is looking like so far. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off of the mixer here. Okay, so now the recipe calls for 1 cup of coconut that I'm going to roll the falafel balls and then smash them and coat them in the coconut. While I'm doing that, I am heating up a pan on medium-high heat. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of olive oil, and once I've got the falafel balls created, then I'll go ahead and put them into the pan and let them cook. Once they're cooked, I'll put them on a plate with some paper towels to kind of get some of the oil off of it. So the burgers are going to look like this, or falafel, and then I'm going to press that into the coconut. Okay, so this is what the falafels look like right now, and I'm going to go ahead and start cooking these. Here's the ones that I've gotten so far. Sorry about the lighting in here. It's pretty late, so I have to use a little bit brighter setting, but here's what they look like so far. Still have a few more to do. 2 more on this plate here. Okay, so here we have my setup. So I got these little slider buns from Pepperidge Farm. I have a hot peach lime chutney that I'm going to be using, and I also have some stone ground mustard. I'm gonna use that's probably about a tablespoon, and then probably maybe about that much. Put that in there, and I'm going to just mix that up to spread on my buns. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and go enjoy my dinner. Thanks for watching. Comment if you have any questions or if you would like to see any other videos like this.